Welcome back to Easy English Talk Podcast.
Imagine sitting in a meeting at work and someone uses a word you don't know. You smile and nod, but inside you feel confused and a bit embarrassed. That feeling is exactly why learning more words matters so much. Hello everyone, and welcome to Easy English Talk Podcast. I'm Ryan, and with me as always is my co-host, Priya. Today we're discussing how to learn 100 English words in a week.
Hi, everyone. Great to be here. And Ryan, that opening really hits home because we've all been there. Words are like keys that unlock better communication and confidence.
Exactly right. So here's what we're going to explore together today. We'll show you why learning 100 words in a week is actually possible, how to do it step by step, and most importantly, how to remember those words so they actually stick in your mind.
Because let's be honest, memorizing words is one thing, but if you forget them 2 days later, what's the point? We want you to actually use these words in real life.
That's the goal. By the end of this episode, you'll have a clear plan you can start using today. So let's start with the big question. Why do people struggle to learn vocabulary quickly?
Well, I think the first reason is that people try to memorize words without any context. They look at a list, read the word, read the definition, and think that's enough. But our brains don't work that way.
Right, because words need meaning to stick. If you just see the word enormous on a list, it's just letters. But if you imagine an enormous elephant blocking a road, suddenly it makes sense.
Exactly. And that brings us to another problem. Most people use boring methods like reading the same list over and over. They get tired, lose motivation, and eventually give up.
I've done that myself. You start strong on Monday, and by Wednesday, you're skipping your study time. Sound familiar to anyone listening?
Definitely familiar. And here's another issue. People don't review. They learn 20 words on Monday, move to 20 new words on Tuesday, and forget Monday's words completely.
That's a huge mistake. Without review, your brain just clears out the information. It thinks, well, we haven't used this, so it must not be important.
Exactly. The brain is very practical that way. It only keeps what it thinks you need. So if you don't review and practice, those words disappear fast.
Okay, so those are the main problems. No context, boring methods, and no review system. Now, let's talk about how to solve these problems and actually learn 100 words in 1 week.
Sounds good. So where should someone start? What's step one?
Step 1 is choosing the right words. Don't just pick random words from a dictionary. Choose words that are useful for your life, your work, or your goals.
That makes sense. If you work in an office, learn business words. If you love traveling, learn travel words.
Exactly. And here's a practical tip. Use frequency lists. These are lists of the most common words in English, and they're super helpful.
Right, because if you learn the top 1,000 most common words, you'll understand about 75% of everyday English. That's a huge advantage. So it makes sense to focus on useful, common words first.
Definitely. Now, once you've chosen your 100 words, you need to organize them. Don't try to learn all 100 at once.
That would be overwhelming. Instead, break them into smaller groups. I'd say learn about 15 to 20 words per day.
That's a good number. It's challenging, but not impossible. So if you learned 15 words per day in 7 days, you'll have learned over 100 words.
Perfect. And here's the key. You don't just learn them once and move on. You need to review the previous day's words every single day.
Yes, that's critical. On Tuesday, you review Monday's words and learn new ones. On Wednesday, you review Monday and Tuesday's words and learn new ones.
It sounds like a lot, but it actually takes less time than you think. Reviewing is much faster than learning new words. Your brain recognizes them quickly.
Exactly. Now let's talk about how to actually learn these words. What methods work best?
Okay, so the first method is using context. Never learn a word alone. Always learn it inside a sentence.
Can you give an example? Let's say the word is anxious.
Sure. Don't just memorize anxious means worried. Instead, create a sentence like, I feel anxious before job interviews.
That's so much better. Now the word has meaning. You can picture the situation and that helps you remember.
Exactly. And here's another tip.
Make the sentence personal. If the sentence is about your own life, your brain will remember it even better.
I love that. So instead of a generic sentence, make it about yourself. I felt anxious before my last presentation at work.
Perfect. Now you're connecting the word to a real memory. That's powerful.
Okay, so context is method 1. What's method 2?
Method 2 is using images and visualization. Our brains remember pictures much better than words. So when you learn a new word, create a mental image for it.
Like, if the word is gigantic, picture something truly huge. Maybe a gigantic mountain or a gigantic pizza. Something fun and memorable.
Exactly. And the more ridiculous or unusual the image, the better. Our brains love weird, funny images. They stick.
That's true. If you imagine a gigantic cat sitting on a tiny chair, you'll never forget that word.
Right. Humor helps memory. So don't be afraid to make your mental images silly. It actually works.
Okay, method 3?
Method 3 is using flashcards, but in a smart way. Paper flashcards or apps like Anki are great tools.
I've used Enki before. It's amazing because it uses something called spaced repetition.
Yes, spaced repetition is a scientifically proven technique. The app shows you words right before you're about to forget them. It's perfectly timed to strengthen your memory.
So you're not wasting time reviewing words you already know well. You focus on the ones that need more practice.
Exactly. And here's how to make your flashcards effective. Put the word on one side and a sentence with the word on the other side.
Not just the definition.
Not just the definition. Sentences give you context. When you see the word, you'll remember how it's used, not just what it means.
That's smart. And you can also add a picture on the flashcard if it helps.
Absolutely. Visual learners really benefit from that. The more connections you create, the stronger the memory.
Okay, so we've covered context, visualization, and flashcards. What about actually using the words?
That's method 4, and it's probably the most important. You must use the words in real situations. Speak them, write them, make them part of your active vocabulary.
Because there's a big difference between recognizing a word and actually using it.
Huge difference. You might understand a word when you read it, but can you use it in a sentence when you're speaking?
Probably not, unless you've practiced. So what's the best way to practice using new words?
Start by writing. Every day, write 5 to 10 sentences using your new words. Make them personal, like we talked about earlier.
That's a great habit. You could keep a vocabulary journal. Every night, write about your day using your new words.
I love that idea. And then move to speaking. Say the sentences out loud. Practice alone or with a language partner.
Even talking to yourself helps. I know it sounds strange, but it works. Your brain doesn't care if someone else is listening.
That's true. The act of speaking activates different parts of your brain. It strengthens the memory in a new way.
So write it, say it, use it. That's the cycle.
Exactly. Now let's talk about another powerful technique, learning words in groups or themes.
Oh, this is a good one. What do you mean by themes?
Instead of learning random words, group them by topic. For example, on Monday, learn 15 words about food. On Tuesday, learn 15 words about emotions.
That makes sense. Your brain can connect related words together. They support each other in your memory.
Right. So if you learn delicious, tasty, bland, spicy, and savory all together, they form a network. When you think of one, you'll remember the others.
And it's also more practical. When you're at a restaurant, all those food words will come to mind.
Exactly. You can also learn word families. For example, create, creative, creativity, creator.
Oh, that's efficient. You're learning 4 words, but they're all connected. You're basically learning one concept in different forms.
Yes, and English loves word families. Once you know the root word, you can often guess the other forms.
That's a really helpful pattern to notice. It makes learning faster.
Definitely. Now let's talk about timing and consistency. This is where a lot of people fail.
Right. Because learning 100 words in a week requires discipline. You can't study for 3 hours on Monday and then do nothing the rest of the week.
Exactly. You need short, consistent study sessions every single day. I'd recommend 2 or 3 sessions of 15 to 20 minutes each.
So maybe one session in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one before bed.
Perfect. And here's why multiple short sessions work better than one long session. Your brain stays fresh and focused.
Also, you're giving your brain multiple chances to process the information. Each session strengthens the memory a little more.
Right. And the before bed session is especially powerful. Studies show that reviewing information before sleep helps it move into long-term memory.
That's fascinating. So the last thing you do before sleep should be reviewing your words.
Exactly. Even just 5 minutes makes a difference. Look through your flashcards, say the words quietly, and let your brain do the rest while you sleep.
I'm going to try that tonight. Okay, so we've talked about methods and timing. Now let's discuss motivation and staying consistent.
This is important because 1 week is actually a short time, but it can still feel long if you're struggling.
Right, so how do you stay motivated?
First, track your progress. Write down how many words you've learned each day. Seeing the numbers go up is really motivating.
I agree. You could use a simple notebook or a tracking app. Just check off each day when you complete your goal.
Yes, and celebrate small wins. When you reach 50 words, take a moment to feel proud. You're halfway there.
And don't be too hard on yourself if you have a tough day. Maybe you only learned 10 words instead of 15. That's okay.
Exactly. Progress is progress. The important thing is not to quit. Keep going even if it's slower than you planned.
Another tip is to make it fun. Use apps, games, or challenges to keep it interesting.
Right. There are lots of vocabulary games online, or you can challenge a friend to learn 100 words together.
That's a great idea. Having a study partner keeps you accountable. You don't want to let them down.
Exactly. And you can quiz each other. That's both fun and effective.
Now, let's talk about mistakes people make when trying to learn vocabulary quickly.
Good idea. The first mistake is trying to learn too many words at once. 100 words in a week is already ambitious.
Right. Don't try to learn 200. More is not always better. Quality matters more than quantity.
Exactly. It's better to learn 100 words well than 200 words poorly.
Another mistake is not learning pronunciation. You might know what a word means, but if you can't say it correctly, you'll hesitate to use it.
That's a really good point. Always listen to how the word sounds. Use online dictionaries that have audio.
Yes, and practice saying it out loud several times. Don't just read it silently.
Another mistake is ignoring collocations. What's a collocation?
It's when certain words naturally go together. Like we say, make a decision, not do a decision.
Right, or heavy rain, not strong rain. These are patterns native speakers use automatically.
So, when you learn a new word, check what words it commonly appears with. This makes your English sound more natural.
Definitely. And the last big mistake is not reviewing enough. We mentioned this earlier, but it's worth repeating.
Yes, review is everything. Without review, you're basically wasting your time.
Your brain will forget at least 50% of new information within 24 hours if you don't review.
That's a scary statistic. So, review the same day, the next day, and then regularly after that.
Exactly. Now let's talk about tools and resources that can help.
Good idea. So, what resources do you recommend?
Well, we already mentioned Anki for flashcards. That's a great free tool. There's also Quizlet, which is easier for beginners.
Quizlet is nice because it has games built in. You can match words to definitions or play timed challenges.
Right. It makes studying feel less like studying. Another great resource is a good learner's dictionary.
I recommend the Cambridge Learner's Dictionary or Oxford Learner's Dictionary. They use simple English to explain words.
Yes, and they show example sentences, which we know are so important. They also include pronunciation guides.
What about apps for learning vocabulary?
There are many. Memrise is popular because it uses videos of native speakers. Drops is good if you like visual learning.
And don't forget YouTube. There are lots of channels focused on vocabulary building.
That's true. You can watch vocabulary lessons while you eat breakfast or during a break.
Another resource is reading, but you have to read at the right level.
Exactly. Don't try to read difficult novels if you're an intermediate learner. Choose graded readers or simple news articles.
And when you see a new word, don't ignore it. Look it up, write it down, and add it to your study list.
Yes, that's how you learn vocabulary naturally, by encountering it in real contexts.
Now let's talk about what happens after the week is over.
That's important because learning the words is just the beginning. The real goal is to remember them long term.
So what should someone do after they've learned 100 words in a week?
First, keep reviewing. Don't stop just because the week is over. Review those words every few days for the next month.
Use the spaced repetition system. Your app will help you with timing.
Right. And continue using the words in your speaking and writing. The more you use them, the more permanent they become.
Also, add more words gradually. Maybe now you learned 50 words the next week instead of 100.
Exactly. Keep building your vocabulary steadily. It's a lifelong process.
And don't forget to celebrate your achievement. Learning 100 words in a week is impressive.
It really is. Most people never even try, so if you do it, you should be proud.
Absolutely. Now, let's give some final practical tips before we wrap up.
Sounds good. So here's a tip. Use sticky notes. Write new words on sticky notes and put them around your house.
Oh, I like that. Put refrigerator on your fridge, mirror on your mirror, and so on.
Exactly. And every time you see the note, say the word out loud. It's passive learning that happens throughout your day.
Another tip. Change your phone or computer language settings to English. You'll see English words constantly.
That's a bold move, but it works. You'll learn everyday vocabulary really fast.
And here's one more. Teach someone else. If you can explain a word to another person, you really know it.
That's so true. Teaching forces you to understand deeply. It's one of the best ways to solidify knowledge.
So, find a friend, a family member, or even an online language partner. Share your new words with them.
And finally, be patient with yourself. Language learning is not a race.
Right. 100 words in a week is a goal, but if it takes you 10 days, that's okay too.
What matters is that you're making progress and building habits that will serve you for years.
Exactly. So let's summarize what we've covered today.
We talked about why people struggle with vocabulary, no context, boring methods, and no review.
Then we gave you a clear plan. Choose useful words, break them into daily groups, and review consistently.
We shared methods like using context, visualization, flashcards, and actually speaking and writing the words.
We discussed learning words in themes, using word families, and studying in short, frequent sessions.
We talked about staying motivated, avoiding common mistakes, and using helpful tools and resources.
And we emphasized that the real work continues after the weekends with long-term review and practice.
So if you follow this plan, 100 words in a week is absolutely achievable.
It takes effort and consistency, but the results are worth it. Imagine how much more confident you'll feel in conversations.
You'll understand more, express yourself better, and feel proud of your progress.
So start today. Choose your first 15 words, write them down, create sentences, make flashcards.
And remember, every word you learn opens a new door. It's not just about language, it's about connection and opportunity.
Well said. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode.
We really appreciate you being here with us. Learning takes time and effort, and we're honored to be part of your journey.
If you enjoyed this episode, we have many more topics to explore. We talk about grammar, pronunciation, conversation skills, and much more.
So check out our other episodes. There's something for everyone, no matter where you are in your English learning journey.
Keep practicing, stay curious, and remember that every small step counts.
We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, happy learning.
Take care, everyone, and good luck with your 100 words this week.